Sideline of ball. Late winner's doing it. They're gonna take. He's gonna bring down Birdie. Alone with a double kill. Dropping fast. Bottom points there. He's still alive. Wait, seconds left. He's going one side. He's going a second. He's taking it. They're all died on three. They're all dead.
Welcome back, boys and girls. We've got game 2 of the Epic Series, Complexity versus Leviathan, the underdogs. Team Leviathan taking game number 1, and, well, they're hungry for a quick 2-0 going the opposite way.
And for Complexity, the team that were the favorites in this one, now they got to be shaken a little bit. They got to make sure they put together a solid draft and put down good execution here to still be able to take home this series. They're the favorites to take the whole thing. They were the number 1 in the group stage. They've been boot camping together in LA. The Han boys, Leviathan, huge underdogs throughout the whole run of this tournament. Trying to be the Cinderella story, man.
Yeah, and that last game, it's not only that Complexity lost. You know, some games if you get wrecked real quick, it was an outdraft, you know, let's just go into game 2. But they were ahead for more than half that game, and then they slowly lost it to the guerrilla warfare of Leviathan.
Yeah.
That's a pretty demoralizing defeat when you had it and then you kind of threw it away from getting a little too comfortable.
Yeah,
so
it just seems like Leviathan seem to have
We'll see.
Complexity's number, but we'll
Yeah.
see though. Looking to bounce back. Game number 2 now. It was last game Complexity used their first 2 bans to get rid of the Pudge. They do that again, but this time they put a
10
little more
seconds
favor into
remaining.
Shibby's Brewmaster. So they ban out that brew. This allows Leviathan now to take
seconds
advantage of getting a
remaining.
hold of the Troll to the point where they actually consider it first pick worthy. So
Yeah.
they get a hold of
Reserve
Troll
time.
and take away Z-Freak Skywrath Mage, grab it for themselves. Complexity with their first pick. They grab a hold of that Faceless Void. Now being denied the Skywrath Mage, they followed up with the Ogre.
Radiant
Witch
team
Doctor
pick.
still available in the pool if they want to go for the next best thing as far as being able to contribute from the outside of the Chronosphere. But it's Leviathan's pick now. We'll have to see what they want to go for here.
Yes, certainly. The Troll first pick, very weird but very Leviathan. It's a hero they're
Yeah. very
very comfortable with. Shredder is usually their Troll player. They like to safe lane him, or I think I saw it aggro tried once, but still they give him a very high farm priority.
10 seconds
And
remaining.
it's pretty good. I think it throws a lot of teams for a loop, like seems to
5
be their
seconds
style. You don't see a
remaining.
lot of Troll in this meta. How do you counter him? How do you deal with him? I think he's a pretty powerful hero. Gives you great Roche control. You can burst
Dire
him down.
team pick.
You can flash push towers, and you just got to be careful. You know, you can't just take those straight up team fights because Troll adds a lot of damage to your team in those little bursts.
Yep, and if you're looking to flash push towers, now you got a Razor who's able to help that even more so. So it's looking like it's going to be a Shibby Razor in the mid lane. Troll Warlord could be Shredder from the outside. And building on top of that, they could look to enhance a bit more with right-click damage on what they want to build with it. They're still going to need an
10
off-lane
seconds
presence right
remaining.
there. Jenkins, who has shifted
5
between their
seconds
off-laner and their
remaining.
4 position. We'll have to see what they go for. This team has been pretty notorious with unorthodox grabs. I believe I've also seen them pick up a Night Stalker as a 4 position at
Radiant
some point.
team pick.
So we'll see if Leviathan kind of continue down that road of being a bit unorthodox with their grabs, or if they're going to go something more uniform. Complexity, they get the AA now on their side, so you get your AA Faceless Void.
Right. So Complexity grabbing 3 very potent heroes, especially that Ogre. We've seen Void and Ancient Apparition in sort of varying amounts. But this can be a little bit of a drafting trap, where last game, Complexity got whooped by an Ancient
10
Apparition
seconds
Faceless Void.
remaining.
And those are kind of the 2 of the driving heroes. The Disruptor with an Ags played a huge
5
role in that game,
seconds
but
remaining.
Void really helped set the tempo. And once Leviathan started using that Chrono more aggressively, that's when things
Reserve
started falling
time.
apart. And we've seen teams do this where, we just got beat by it. It feels so strong. Then they pick it, and it's like, well, Leviathan could still be one step ahead. They just played it. They know how to play it.
And their lineup, at least as far as the first 3
Dire
go,
team
can do a
pick.
lot from the outside of a Chronosphere
Yeah.
as well. If this Faceless Void can't get a hold of everyone, there could still be a Skywrath Mage on the outside dropping a Mystic Flare on a Faceless Void who might not have his BKB yet. Razor can obviously sap the damage away while he's trying to get a lot done in the Chronosphere. And Troll, of course, could still dish huge amounts of damage. So Complexity have to make sure they execute right with this Chronosphere on making it count the most. And now Leviathan follow up, big team fight hero. Tidehunter makes his way all the way into the 4th
10
pick here.
seconds remaining.
Leviathan thrown together a pretty nice, strong draft so far, but I would say just as easily
5
the same thing for
seconds
Complexity.
remaining.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what they go for. They've already been denied the Moon Meander Slark. He went
Reserve
AM last
time.
time. Other notorious heroes Moon Meander likes to play. We've seen him go with Medusa. He's had a huge fight impact there. We've even seen him do Core Marana, who can also do a lot in this one.
And there's your Ember Spear.
But it's going to be an Ember Spear
Great
grab.
Maybe the
Team
Swindle
ban.
hero again. Now, this could be
Moon Meander now.
there's a lot of ways they could do this with the Void. They could give Limp the Void to go off lane, swindle on the Ember again, and then just get something for Moon still.
They've done Zeus before. I think they've even
Ooh.
done Zeus against a
10
Razor in the mid
seconds
lane. That
remaining.
could be Swindle Melon's grab for this kind of a game.
Okay.
He can be pretty
5
heavily punished,
seconds
though,
remaining.
later into the game. And Troll can be a BKB kind of a hero. Same with Razor, so Zeus might not be the
Reserve
best
time.
pick unless they're banking on a huge snowball factor there.
Yeah,
We'll
I
have to
don't.
see,
I mean,
though.
well, Zeus is really good with Void and Ancient Apparition for that matter. You get him low, force the
Dire
shatters,
team
and if you
ban.
can catch a few in a chrono with Zeus outside of it, oh
Radiant
man, the
team
damage
pick.
is just absurd. So, I suppose could be an option. I think Gyro would work very nicely. Always good with Void. A little greedy for complexity if they
And
end up
Moon's
going
played
that
Gyro,
route.
too.
But I think that could be a pretty likely option.
Weaver's also still in the pool and available, and someone else I called out last game that
Yeah.
can work nicely with AA in the early game. So a lot of options still there for complexity. Leviathan get rid of the Morphling, and now they're going to look for their last pick. I can't help but feel like complexity are still a bit
10
bewildered in this
seconds
drafting
remaining.
phase. They banned out Slardar again, but we already made the call. I mean, unless
5
we're wrong, of
seconds
course,
remaining.
that Shredder's going to be playing Troll Warlord, which is their first grab. So banning out the Slardar didn't seem quite
Reserve
necessary. So
Yeah, that's a
maybe
good
complexity
point.
still don't quite know Leviathan's game plan and how they like to work these drafts. I'm thinking that that's the Shredder hero still.
I think so.
If that's going to be the case, they need their secondary support here.
Yeah.
And someone who can contribute a lot. I mean, Disruptor's been banned. I was going to say Disruptor wouldn't be a bad second grab, but
yeah, they could disrupt.
they could get a Witch Doctor themselves. That is, of
Doctor,
course,
sure.
you know, it's another support hero that could use a lot of farm. But last time we expected the same thing. They designated the farm to one of them, and then the other one still managed to follow suit. So a Witch Doctor could still work fairly well here.
Yeah.
But
a
we'll
lot
have
of
to
the
see.
heroes I think that would have worked well would have been banned out. I think they could maybe get away with Enigma, but they've banned that out themselves. Vengeful Spirit, a great option against the Faceless Void, also pairs nicely with the Skywrath to open up with some stun, set up for that Mystic Flare.
Wraith King could be good. I mean, he's
Yeah.
melee, but he can, obviously
an
deter
option.
anything complex you want to do as far as setup. If you kind of Chronosphere a Wraith King, it's not going to really matter a whole lot. If you get your initial Ice Blast on him, it doesn't matter. Ogre Magic can burst him through. He'll still be able to fight back. And his utility adds a lot to Troll and to Razor as far as having that bit of leech there.
Yeah.
But they're nursing the clock here. They're down to 15 seconds. This is match point right now for Leviathan. They win this game, they move on to the next round, and they'll be playing the winner of Not
Okay.
Today and
Dire team
Navi
pick.
US. Sand
Yeah.
King is going to be the last grab.
I really like this. I was thinking
I mean,
Enigma,
yeah.
something that can work the jungle, maybe be a little more greedy. When you've got a Troll Skywrath, presumably in the safe lane, they don't really need much help. Two great laners. You've got Razor who'll handle himself mid and Tide off lane. So that opens up the jungle to get a greedier someone that can stack, work it, and Sand King fits the bill perfectly.
Yeah, he does. And it's not like AA is typically one to roam about. Ogre can do it, but that leaves like one on each team as
10
far as roaming
seconds
support. So
remaining.
Sand King should feel pretty comfortable finding his own bit of farm and not really taking away a
5
lot from the rest of the
seconds
team.
remaining.
Now, seeing the Sand King grab, I'm curious to see how the first start of the game is. And there it is.
It's
going
the
to be the
Zeus.
Zeus. So the
Okay.
Swindle Melon Zeus is going to be grabbed. I questioned as far as how he would work in the mid to late game when BKB start coming together for Leviathan. But in the early game is where it matters. If Zeus can make a big early game presence, be able to burst, get a couple of quick kills, he's going to be hard to control. On the outside of a
Yes.
Chronosphere, it could get deadly real quick. I'm really
Prepare
curious,
for
though, how the
battle.
early game's going to go. Complexity, no. They want to get right to the Leviathan jungle. They want to put down some wards. They want to prevent this Sand King from getting that bit of jungle presence. But Leviathan or Leviathan, they want to do the same thing, so they're just going to go to the other jungle. Now, this is unfortunate for Leviathan because they're not leaving anyone behind to scout out their own jungle. They're going to lose a lot of camps here.
Yeah, I think Newsham's going to be on the slow track to get this game started. He does have a couple of sentries, so maybe they'll be able to
Leviathan even smoke
utilize
up.
a few of those. Yeah, they smoke up at the tower. Complexity rotating through, but I really like this lineup from Complexity. I think it does not have the ease of execution advantage. You've got some skill shots on Leviathan, but I think Tide and Sand King are a little bit easier to utilize than trying to position Chrono so
this.
that your Zeus can do max damage.
Out.
Yeah.
Out.
One
Out.
Oof,
30
this
seconds.
is
This
going
is
to be
this
rough.
is a bit unfortunate for Leviathan. This is something you should have anticipated, as we did during the draft.
Look
You
at
have a
this.
Sand King. It's just kind of a go-to that
Oh.
the enemy team might want to consider contesting your jungle and taking that away. So Leviathan go all through the hustle of
They don't even
spending
put
a
a ward
smoke
down.
smoke around. They don't put wards down. It's not like Complexity are really going to be using the jungle early, but they
But
lose
even
a lot
like just
here.
to block the pull camp, I'm surprised they didn't put down
They
a
lose
single
lot.
ward.
They need to really make sure they have some sentries now. Otherwise,
The
this Sand
battle
King is not going to
begins.
get a lot going early. He does already
He
have
does
two
have two,
sentries.
yeah.
But
Could be
look,
worse.
4 camps, I think, have been blocked total. Only 1 camp is going to spawn. That's the small camp here. Imagine if that's Mud Golems.
Oh my god. That is Sing King's worst nightmare. And even just trying to deward this, they ward the magic bush and then also the camp itself. So you deward this and you go, oh, great, the magic bush. Ah, predictable. And then you still don't get your camp. This is going to be hard.
So Nusham's got his work cut out for him.
Up top, Sunken will initiate on him. Jenkins does. Skill Gush, and this could be your first blood.
This is first blood.
Big ol' Ogre, usually the fatty, but here Jenkins gives him the anchor. And that'll be a first blood for the Tide Hunter.
So Leviathan do follow it up. They bait out the rune. Unfortunately, Zefric is going to be catching onto that bait. And Leviathan come out huge there. And of all people, it's your Tide Hunter who gets that first blood and a little bit extra bonus gold. And Swindle. Now, if you watch... Man, he gets taken down real low here. If Leviathan had done their study work...
He's out of regen already.
There's lots of games where you could see Swindle playing this Zeus. So you can become quickly familiar with the play style of the Swindle Melon Zeus. And if Leviathan had done their study work, they know that they want to harass him nice and early here. Take away immediately all of his regen, which now he's down to none, and it'll put him into a position where he just can't really find a whole lot in this lane.
I think if that plasma field connected, they could have gone for a kill here with Sunken
clarity
in the tree line. Does have that point in concussive. Zefreak hits him with an ignite, and that will repel the Skywrath, at least for now. So it's kind of turned into a dual lane here in the mid on both sides of the coin, but Zeus is an odd hero. Very bursty, does a huge amount of damage, so much so that you really want to build him mobility-based. Usually, the plasma field just barely falling short. Usually want to build him, though, with mobility items. Your Blink Dagger, Limp, that was a close one. Gets off the salve and
one
lives.
more right-click might have done the trick right there. Oh, Concussive Shot's going to remove the salve, so Limp is not going to get the most out of that healing. He's now down to half life here. Looks like Leviathan adding pressure on all fronts in the early game.
Yeah. And Tide stacking the Ancients and making sure he has something to retreat to. Being forced to skill Gush level 1, worth it for the first blood, but still a little unfortunate for the Tide. He wants that Anchor Smash, wants that Kraken Shell.
Too.
Yeah, that'll find his level 2, so at least gets the Anchor. But
I think in both runes. Illusion going to be grabbed up bottom from Nusham as well. And Nusham only got a little bit of XP in lane. Did he put down the sentries? He did.
He did, and he only got the Magic Bush. That really hurts. So he's got an easy camp, and he's got some Alpha Wolves. So
that's good. No Mud Golems, I guess.
There you go.
We'll be happy about that. But after that, he's going to have trouble finding anything else. It looks like we're going to have a bit of a packet loss.
Somebody lost their packets.
East server has been really terrible lately. Even playing the server, like played a bit yesterday, it can be a bit finicky. You know, I'm sure it's being worked on as we speak, but we are going to have to be patient as it's a very important game, especially for complexity. Well, for Leviathan too. I mean, if they win this one,
it's a big game. Yeah, no elimination as we talked about. The two losers of today will be facing off tomorrow in the elimination round. First things first, but this is still a pretty big matchup here. Moving to the winners finals, that gets you pretty close to those grand finals.
And the team that makes it all the way into the finals from the winners bracket does get a slight advantage. They don't get a game advantage, but they will be able to have first pick. They get immediate coin advantage, I believe, in the first game.
I'm sorry, say again.
The winners bracket advantage. Is it a coin flip, gentlemen? Is that what it is? Yes. Gods is giving me the thumb up.
You win
it's a coin flip advantage in game number 1.
Yeah, you get the coins.
And it's a best of 5.
Best of 5, but in that one it doesn't reflip. In the best of 3s, we reflip game 3. Good plan, Jenkins. I like that. Apparently, stealing Shredder's jokes.
We've seen some crazy series already so far. I've been really impressed. I mean, you're talking C was the first one, first departure, the team that had been added late into the Summit 2 have battled their way all the way to a game number 5 against Invasion, and they won. They took it. Sorry if this is going to be spoilers for anyone, of course, but just how things have gone so far has been so crazy. And then China, VG Gaming were down 0-2 in the finals, and then managed to win the next 3 to come back.
Reverse all kill, baby. That's the way I like it.
The only one that was pretty quick was European, when Team Secret managed to just kind of sweep out Cloud9.
Yeah,
but that might not be the last we see of Cloud9. You got to get those redemption votes out there, folks. Get to those compendiums. If you originally voted for some team like Secret, you need to change out that vote and put your new number 1 in. That's big.
That is big. That's actually really good and worth mentioning. So. Up top, all that thought is Jenkins gets initiated on. Moon Meander coming forward. They're going to cut down the watermelon. They'll slice him up, shoot through the seeds, and, well, Z-Freak. He gets a kill up on the board as Jenkins will head back to the well.
Yep. Jenkins going to be put off a little bit by that, but he has been stacking. He did get the first blood, but still it's going to be the long walk of shame for him to get back to that off lane. A nice grab there, though, for complexity as they even things up 1-1. early on. Looking at the CS, it's all about Moon Meander, 16 and 10. Swindle, who had been pressured early, put themselves some nice
Down
CS,
bottom.
but
Limp.
they're making it go. Limp's in big trouble right here. Can he get away with this? No mana for Time Walk, and all it takes is one more right click, and of all the people, it's Shredder on your Troll Warlord to pick up that kill.
Yep, Shredder just throws one last axe, and Void caught without enough mana to time walk. Nowhere to go.
And
Ends up
Nushim's
being
in
a
lane
quick
now
one.
because he has no jungle to work with, so he's just kind of
Yep, he's
waiting
giving
it
up.
about.
He's going to have to wait it out, but this sentry is about to expire, so he will have his camps opened up now. The 2 hard camps in particular are
they're
the ones
pinging
who
it
really
too,
want to
so he's
farm.
like, they're like, get over there, scout it out.
Yeah.
Sunken's lane. They're like, Sunken, can you go figure out what the hell's happening?
Well,
with
when
our
they're all
camps?"
blocked like that, you know some of them are sentries. So around this time, the 4-minute mark or so is when they'll expire, and you'll have that that window of opportunity. But Jenkins doing okay in the off lane. He did go for a bottle on this Tide. Not too often you see bottle on off lane Tide. Most of them just rush for the arcanes right to the blink and just move right into the refresher. That seems to be the latest craze in your Tide hunters. But going for some extra sustainability. We'll get stunned up again by Z-Freak. Moon coming in. Level 4, 2 points in the chains, but will not connect. No points in the Sleight of Fist, so does have to get pretty close to really do the damage.
Swindle gets the DD from the top. That leaves Shibby with the bounty rune on bottom. As they head on back, they exchange a little bit here with their Sand King as far as bottle, and now Shibby will make his return. It's been relatively quiet outside the beginning of the game in this mid lane. Swindle's caught back up as far as CS goes against this Razor, which he's happy with for now. We'll have to see how long it takes. He's almost level 6, and then you have Heaven on your side. And we could see big engagements from side lanes. As I say that, though, they're making another go on Limp. This time he can get the time walk off on the back end of that silence. But, yeah, very close regardless. Continue to be pressured here in this off lane. He's only 4-1 as far as CS. Your Faceless Void is struggling a little bit here.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit rough. Tide not really getting a lot of last hits. Him and Void. Oh, wow, Void's getting a lot more experience in here. So he'll at least have his Chrono online way before Jenkins has his Ravage Searing. Chains up top. Moon Meander going to have to dive the tower.
Damage
But
is just so good.
oh, man. That Tide. Not so tanky there. Shredder comes in. He wants a recovery kill. He might find it on Bloody 9. A few more axes. Bam. There you go. See ya.
Good call from Shredder to rotate to the top lane and quickly get that kill on the way out. The Tomahawks are throwing, and he's a savage.
The Tomahawk chop.
Uh-oh, mid lane though. Oh, Shibby. Big Thunderstrike, ultimate follow-up, Swindle Melon. Cleans out your Razor in the mid lane. Complexity at the drop of a hat. Immediately strike back, and it's 3-3 again.
And now in the bottom, Limp manning up onto Sunken. Sunken with no mana will make it back to the tower. Time Walk on cooldown, and Limp will be forced back. So.
Can't help but feel like, though, for Sand King, this is a struggle. At this point, you're hoping that Sand King, who had not been evolved a lot early, is like, okay, well, then you go touch base with him. He's currently sandstorming a big stack of creeps, and, you know, he's like, oh, well, you know, just about 2 more camps, he'll have his Blink Dagger. No, he's behind quite a ways as far as getting the Blink Dagger.
Limp does find that kill after all under the Skywrath down bottom, and now Swindle. Uh-oh, he falls for the bait. Once that bounty rune, Shibby steals his damage. Shredder blinds him, throws some dirt in his eyes, and then they will find the kill. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Jenkins going blow for blow with Moon Meander again, but oh, silly Yugi, that's not going to work out. And, well, Tidehunter falls for the 3rd time.
Can't get one kill without the other team getting another somewhere else. This game is a lot more back and forth on both sides, and I'm liking it. Early tussles in the early game here. No one is safe.
Tide is the big weak point right now. Only level 4. He'll soon be 5, but Moon is now 6, and this is where I fear for Jenkins a little bit. Moon can really man up on him hard. He may want to grab that next point in Kraken Shell, and yeah, this is where that early point in Gush is coming back to bite him in the ass a little bit.
This is where Complexity can begin to open up, and they're looking to go again here on Tide. Tide is just struggling here. He has to get away from this one. He's pressured very low, and it even forces out the Sunken rotation.
His entire bottle,
to the top lane. Now they're going to have to get a little bit extra assistance, but now with your ultimate up here on Swindle, and even Faceless Void at level 6, throws together his power treads. He'll head back to base, and I imagine he wants to put to use that first Chronosphere, and it's now going to be Complexity. You're going to look to go for lots of kills. I mean, Swindle can just kind of keep himself in this mid lane and still contribute a lot with that ultimate. Just look for this Faceless Void to go for a kill very, very soon.
And once that Ancient Apparition hits level 6, they're going to up their global presence quite a bit, but will be a while before that happens. AA, the lowest in the game, only level 3 right now, and not finding a hell of a lot. Speaking of low levels, Nushi, how you doing, baby? Not so hot. We're 7.5 minutes in. He's got 600 gold towards the blink. No bottle, just brown boots, a couple of branches, and We're looking now maybe like a 13-minute blink, something like that. It's going to take a while to get these stacks going.
Yeah, Tide as well. It's going to be a while before he gets his blink. He's going to go for a third stack here on the Ancient Camp. That certainly will help, but Complexity could just as easily put up a bit of contention towards that spot, but it's going to be a bit. And by the time Leviathan get those blink daggers together, Complexity are already going to be going on the hunt. Like here, top lane, they see that Tide Hunter, they take him down immediately. Jenkins having a bit of a struggling game here.
You blink and you miss it. That was pretty
Dyer's
fast.
middle tower is under
Okay,
attack.
well, Tide just trying to stack. He does get off the stack, but
Oh, bottom lane, they want Shredder. He's trying
on the
to
feed
juke and
train.
jive here through the woods, getting away. Limp had already invested his Chronosphere towards this one. Can he get out? Nope, Fire Blast going to be there. Can they get the right click? They need one more. Time walk forward makes it easy, and now they take down Shredder. It's Complexity finding kills now across the map, but oh, can they get a return kill here? Looks like Tide. Jenkins going right for Limp. Meanwhile, Shivy wants Z-Freak. One more whip. He gets it, and on the way back, can they get Jenkins? Or not Jenkins. Can Jenkins get a hold of Limp?
Radiant's
Limp
middle
has no
tower
time
is
walk
under
here, so
attack.
he's
gotta
just running.
gush. Yeah.
Come here,
Dyer's
you.
bottom
Should be
tower
able to hit him
is
with an
under
anchor.
attack.
Two more. One more. Oh, it's going to be Shivy who comes in with the nuke and gets it cleaned up. A double kill, though, for your Razor. Huge, huge things. And with 1,200 gold, we'll have to see if he invests straight towards the mech. But in this particular game against an AA, he could opt to pass over that mech, go for something else instead.
Radiant's
Top
top
lane, they're
tower
making a
is
go. They get a
under
hold of your
attack.
AA also. Now it's going to be Leviathan. They're finding kills all over the map. Doesn't stop
And
Zyori.
now in the mid, Moonmeander, he finds Shibby. Fire Remnants forward, gives him the fiery sword, but
Swindle.
Jenkins, he wants Swindle. He doesn't have a Ravage to spare. A few more anchors will do it, but no, Swindle just barely survives.
Nushim almost wants to go in there and get a part of it, but he
sunk
can't.
in. One more. He can't find it. The chains from Moon. Z-Freak with the Fire Blast, and it's Complexity.
Oh, so close. Swindle playing a dangerous game, but it works to their benefit. They find another couple of kills on the back end of the couple of kills that Leviathan found. And it's really hard to say who's coming out on top. I'd have to say Complexity or the team
It
that
is
seem to just kind of
Complexity
get that
poking
final
ahead.
period at the end of these big statements.
Yeah. It's still pretty close, though. Leviathan are getting some out of these exchanges. Tide's finally level 6, and now they can fight around the
Radiant's
Ravage.
bottom
It's about a
tower is
1,500
under
gold
attack.
experience edge for Complexity. If Tide can finally make use of this Ancient stack, and they are giving Nushim some time in the jungle. 1,100 gold, halfway to the blink.
Yeah.
Slow and steady, Sand King will come online.
That's the turning point for Leviathan. Your Tide Hunter getting a hold of that Blink Dagger for blinking Ravages, and of course, the gap closing capability of your Sand King once he gets that Blink Dagger. A Blink Burrow Strike can just close huge
Radiant's
distances as
bottom
far as a
tower
good
is
initiation
under
setup, and of
attack.
course, can't forget how good an
Dyer's top
epicenter can
tower
be,
is
even
under
inside
attack.
an enemy Chronosphere. So we'll have to see if that's going to be enough for Leviathan to turn it around, and we'll have to see if Complexity can hold on to this bit of momentum, and in which they keep going now. Swindle Melons finds a sweet pickoff in the enemy jungle. They take down Nushim, and they take away some of his creeps. This is devastating for Sand King.
Yeah, Moonmeander hops into the mid, sees the Tide, and won't go for it. Now, meanwhile, in the top lane,
Oh.
Limp coming in. Chrono
He's got-
with the ready. Gets silenced. Shredder! You're in some trouble. AA not quite level 6, but yeah, they'll have enough to bring him down here. And Tide, he falls across the map. So many fights breaking out at once here as, well, nice ultimate from Zeus, kind of doing some damage around the map. Moon, he gets stunned up, though. Shivy going in, gets a Fire Remnant into the river. And that'll be enough to secure his survival.
Unfortunately, Skywrath Mage, not level 6, can't really help out with the Mystic Flare when Void makes his jump in. It's just looking like Leviathan very underfarmed and now underleveled in this early game. And it all started with Complexity doing that huge shift through the Leviathan jungle and taking all of that farm potential away. It's just kind of felt like now Complexity are always one step ahead.
Yeah, it certainly does. Now the mid lane, Shibby in some trouble. Moon misses the chains. That was a big opportunity, but they won't find it. Ice Blast comes in, actually does hit the Razor. And looks like no mech under construction for him, just power treads and some stats items for now. Can't forget about the lightning, given
the
ward
stack is going
control.
to be scouted out too. Oh, did they team fight it? No. Oh, that would be just...
That would be
That would take
extra
away
bad.
Dyer's
so
bottom
much. I mean, you
tower
already have
is under
Tide and
attack.
Sand King just kind of shuffling through the jungle, trying to... I'll take this, you take that.
ready.
There's mud golems everywhere. And top lane, it doesn't get any better for Shredder. He's pressured by
Dyer's
3
bottom
here.
tower
He's
is
not
under
going to
attack.
get caught out. Multi's going to be there, both the Ignite and the Fire Blast, and it's Moonmeander who clicks him down. Nice grab for him. Nushim comes in, but now has no mana. He could hand himself over like that, and Will and Swindle finds a kill elsewhere, and they
Mid-lane.
still want more. Now there's going to be a
Ravage.
Ravage going to be
Radiant's
used.
top
Swindle.
tower has
Solo
fallen.
Ravage, not what you're looking for. If you're the Tide, he's going to chase down Swindle, but
Two
he's
seconds
got
for Gush.
reinforcements coming. Will the Gush actually be enough? Ancient's coming out. Take that, Jenkins. There's support coming around the backside. McGee, where's the stun? He won't be able to find it. Instead, Ember Spirit, he's getting kills
On the
in the
bottom.
bottom lane. Jeez,
It
and
doesn't
crackers,
stop,
dude.
and he takes down Sunken.
Radiant's
Complexity
top
are
tower
getting
is under
kills
attack.
everywhere at this point. It's 17-7. This is their time to shine. They are really punishing Leviathan on not having their items together at the quota you would like to have, and
Yeah, you just need this Sand King blink at this stage. We're 13 minutes in now. He's still just halfway there.
Radiant's
He's going to
bottom
try to
tower
stack
is
and go
under
right
attack.
back to
it's
the
going to be
dance
so
party.
long. Even Tidehunter's only got 300 gold and only
Yeah,
boots
you
to
just-
his name.
You have these two great tempo controllers with their blink daggers, but if they can't get the blinks, then they're the ones who are having their tempos controlled.
This is just perfect for Complexity. I mean, Moon Meander's getting great kills. He's finding a bit of farm. He's got his Perseverance
He's
looking to
6-0
build
and
towards
4.
his...
I mean, there's nothing slowing him down.
I mean, there's always the rubber band factor. If Leviathan can get a hold of those items and pull down a huge team fight and get some pickoffs, they could be just back into this one based on the rubber band alone. But Complexity are on a snowball's momentum where they're not looking to deter from their path whatsoever.
7,500 golden experience in their favor, and it doesn't look like that's changing
Dyer's middle
anytime
tower
soon
is
here,
under
Dakota.
attack.
So sit back and relax for Complexity. Actually, they really need to do the opposite. I think they need to stay somewhat aggressive here. Moon Meander on the Zeus has gone for a mobility item in that Force Staff, Arcane Boots, and your bottle. So all you need at this point. Zeus still doing a huge amount of damage, finds his level 11, so the Thunder God's Wrath, a bit more potent here. And Complexity kind of posturing around their Ancients in the Roche Pit. I think they may be thinking about it, but need to choose that opening very wisely.
On the opposite side, Leviathan, they get a couple of stacks happening in the jungle. Nusham is right back on his jungle duty, just still trying to throw together that Blink Dagger. His team is helping him out with that one. They know they need it. Shredder trying to be the late game force on this troll. Only has an Ogre Club. He's trying to go right for that BKB. But it's still Complexity. They're finding the farm everywhere. Limp, top lane, uncontested farm for him. He's getting closer now. He's got that, what looks like Mask of Madness now complete on your Faceless Void. Big grab for him. On the opposite side, your Tide's going to farm it up, but we'll see here
Oh,
as
Shibby's invisible. Okay.
they're scouting out mid lane.
In
They're
comes
right on
Limp.
each other. They don't even know it.
Oh, who's going to catch you here? They're cutting their way
Oh.
through. They find Nusham.
Radiant's
Limp's
middle
there
tower
with the
is under
ultimate.
attack.
And Sand King, he'll just get clicked down by the Void.
Oh, Shibby could be in
Swindle.
trouble here, too. He gets hit with that Ice Blast, and he's brought down pretty dang low.
Is he going to shatter?
It's only level 1. I don't think he'll shatter. It's going to be close.
Radiant's
Wow, that
middle
was
tower
pretty
is
close,
under
but yeah,
attack.
not quite. So,
I gotta see
okay.
what's the threshold of that. Is it 100?
Radiant structures are fortified.
Lift
Oh,
comes
10%.
out. Ooh, yeah, so, okay. He had a few hit points to spare, but still close one. And mid-tier 1 will go down. Use the glyph to try and delay
Radiant's
it, but
middle
no
tower
defense,
has
and it
fallen.
will be Moon on the Ember Spirit that gets the last hit. And now 500 gold away from his first Battle Fury on point with a fabulous timing there on that item.
Oh, man, oh, man. I just like the tempo that Complexity have. They know they have the upper hand, and they just keep sweeping through the Leviathan jungle. They know Leviathan is desperate to find this farm somewhere, and they're just looking to keep taking it away. Moon Meander crosses a couple of stacks. He can always just slide a fist and take that out, but he's going right behind the tower here. No one's there, but
Yeah,
maybe
they saw
instead
the
they'll go for
Sky
the
Wrath, I
objective.
think, and he TP'd out. Smart play from Sunken to make it out in time, but caught wind of him. So Ice Blast will miss.
Dyer's
Looks like
top
Complexity
tower
are just
is under attack.
going for objectives here. They've got one outer tower remaining. They'll cut the creep wave with Moon, so they will put some pressure on it, see how Leviathan react, and of course if they don't come to the defense, it'll just be an easy tower.
Radiant's bottom
Tide
tower
gets himself
is
a
under
bounty
attack.
rune, and Zeus, he finds a haste. And it looks like Swindle, Bloodstone or Aghanims. Not sure which, but has the point booster.
And bottom, they're going to finish out that last tier 1 tower. No one looks to contest because no one's ready to go. Oh, Swindle hunts right through.
Dyer's top tower is under
He's
attack.
beelining it right towards this mid lane.
Radiant's
He's got the
bottom
haste.
tower
He's going to
has
run up.
fallen.
Oh, he just missed the Tidehunter, but he sees that Sunken's here. He could have probably taken Sunken, but Sunken immediately pulls out the silence. Oh, the global's all it takes to clean out the easy support. And now he's on the hunt here. Oh, he can get
this
one more
damage.
chain. He
He's
wants it,
gonna find
baby.
it.
Force forward. He's got it. Double kill for your Zeus.
Nusham.
Swindle melons. Oh, Nusham fires back. Nice burrow strike. Locks him in place.
He's
that
still
haste.
hasted, though.
Well, it's over now.
All right.
Come here, you son of a gun, taking out our Pishkin with supports. You're not going to force staff up that hill, buddy. They do get a return kill, but it's still Complexity. They get the 2-for-1 special.
All right, still good for Shibby, though. They end a monster
Radiant's
streak
bottom
kill, so he
tower
gets
is
a
under
pretty
attack.
penny out of that. And now 1,400 gold up on Razor. Maybe that'll be the progress he needs to get that BKB complete. I don't want to count Leviathan out too early this game, but it is definitely rough. We saw their comeback potential in the last match. 10,000 gold,
Oh,
7,500
Moon Meander
experience.
cuts
Whoa.
over. He wants Shredder. He gets it. What a
Whoa.
grab from Moon. He goes perfectly from one pit across, cuts off Shredder at the pass, and finishes him off. He was already ice blasted up, so it was just an easy shatter grab.
All right, well. Tied 1,400 gold, only
Radiant's
level
bottom
8,
tower
and
is under
Nusham, he
attack.
will have a Blink Dagger Coddle. Guys, 17 minutes, better late than never.
Well, I don't know, man. This kind of a game late might be too late at this point. We'll have to see. It's Complexity that have all the momentum they could ask for. Moon is on the hunt here. There is
He
Tide
sure is.
with the Ravage. Still no Blink Dagger, though, but
Getting in position can be so tricky for him. Still only 2 points in the Kraken shell also.
Complexity's continue to keep taking away the jungle farm from Leviathan, but here's your concussive shot. Limp should be able to get away. He has Time Walk at the ready, too far from a silence, and it's Leviathan that are now straggling to try to find their own bit of kills. They have no farm.
Complexity just too elusive for him right
Mhm.
now. And the heroes that are easy to lock down, just not in the right place at the right time from the Leviathan perspective. Looks like it will be an Ags on Zeus, so Swindle just going for raw damage here. And that's all this Aghanim's upgrade gives you. But Moon Meander mid lane, initiated on Mystic Flare, silence, they'll cut through that Flame Guard. And that's a nice pick-off, Sunken, getting all that unstoppable gold. And this is eerily similar to what happened last game, Kaddle Guy.
Dire's middle tower
Leviathan
is
go
under
down
attack.
hard, and they come back with this guerrilla
Radiant's
warfare
top
style.
tower
It's a
is
grab
under
they desperately.
attack.
It was probably best case scenario to try to take advantage of Sand King debuting his Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
They get a hold of Moon, who has a huge bounty behind him, and of course, just him being the Ember Spirit, he's probably the best target to take down. So that's the best thing you can ask for if you're Leviathan, as far as being able to get something to turn it over. It's a little bit of gold coming their way. It's still Complexity's game, however. But now Complexity have that bit of intel. They know that Sand King has the Blink at the ready. Tidehunter will be soon to follow, as he's about 2k gold. Very, very close to having the Blink, but man, he's so far behind. He's third in net worth. He's behind both the supports of Complexity.
Oh.
As the offlaner for Leviathan, it's Strug City right now for Jenkins.
That really hurts. But alas, the Blink Daggers come out, and I think when they want to, they can really fight around this Tide ultimate. Even though Jenkins has had a slow game so far, Blink is really all Tide needs to turn that frown upside down.
Complexity going for Roche here. It's Limp who's starting it off by himself, but Moon from his recent death will get right on in there, and at the same time, Swindle picks up an Aghanim Scepter on his Zeus.
Now,
First is real.
the other thing worth mentioning, this has reminded me, is Zeus is really good against these Blink Initiators, like Sand King and your Tide Hunters, because if you are ready to fight, you sort of feel like that gank is coming. Hit the ultimate, stops the Blink Daggers, gives you vision, and that can open it up for someone like your Ember Spirit or your Void to find them, hop in, and make it happen. So you have to be very careful at how you initiate. If you're Leviathan, they will smoke up and head towards the Roche Pit, but hey, just one ultimate from Swindle will reveal their jig. And actually, he does pop the ultimate, so I think they're aware of the
Roshan
movement
has
here.
fallen
Yeah.
to the
They
dark.
I mean,
get
when you
the
pop the
Roche.
ultimate and you see it hits no one,
Yeah.
then you know that they're
You know they're smoked, and if you're doing Roche, they're probably coming your way. But nope. All right, ends up being an easy Roche kill. A just goes the way of Zeus, and they'll try to find a kill on Z-Freak. Nusha misses the stun. It was blind. Had to guess somewhere, and Ol Ogre will TP out unscathed.
All right, Tide does have his Blink, and we'll see if he wants to put it to use before he goes back to his usual bit of farm. But, you know, for these Leviathan members who maybe are not going to be able to get a hold of a BKB in a reasonable time, maybe they should consider getting together some cloaks, you know, just for the Zeus. Jump forward, Gush.
Yeah.
Bloody Nine. I think he's in trouble here. He throws
mean-
out the cold feet, and he will step back. But you need a little bit of magic resistance. Otherwise, this Zeus is going to really take advantage of these weaker members who only have Blink Daggers and boots, you know?
I think BKBs and Pipe are going to be the name of the game here. I'm not sure who's going to farm up that Pipe. Shredder and Shibby both going for BKBs, and I think that
Maybe
makes a lot of sense.
Jenkins, if his
Dire's
Tidehunter
middle
can
tower
throw it
is
together.
under
I
attack.
feel like he needs to. I feel like Nusham should really be the one prioritizing the Pipe, honestly. Because
That's true,
Jenkins,
too. He could
I
do
think that like a double Ravage, that could kind of turn this game around.
Dire's
What item
middle
could Sand
tower
King
is
get
under
after this
attack.
Blink that's really going to turn this around? You know, if you're
Radiant's
talking
bottom
about a
tower
Sand King
is under
snowballing,
attack.
some of those damage items like your Veil, your
Yeah.
Ags can be really
It
good.
would
But
help
at
with
this
this
rate,
kind of game too, but
yeah, I think the defensive item might be where they're at just to shut down that Zeus, because Zeus will eventually fall off. If you have that magic armor, you have just tank your heroes, BKBs. He doesn't pack quite that same punch that he does here in this early game where Swindle is really shining.
yeah. And while he is shining, he's taking advantage of that on this Zeus, which is what he likes to do. It's only the times where he struggles early on that he really can't bounce back. But when he does get a huge game going, it's just as easy to see Swindle put together like a 12-2 kind of record at the end of the game on his Zeus, and there's really just no letting down. And It's more pressure on Leviathan to try to bounce back from the devastating early game and early mid game here. As now they're looking to go on Z-Freak. They will be able to burst him down on the bottom lane. They just commit a Mystic Flare forward. It's Nushim who sets it up with the Blink Burrow, and there's not really a whole lot you
on the
can
Razor
do.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Complexity still have the same thing going for them as they did in the last game, which is they've got the farming tools. Ember Spirit with his first Battle Fury, and now a Perseverance. So he's Battle Furying it up, and of course great on the Ember for team fighting, but just lets him farm so much more effectively, even though it's been fairly even. Okay, they get a gank on the Ogre, but it's still Complexity that are farming faster and pulling ahead in this kind of stalemate environment.
Yeah. Leviathan do put together the foundation on their cores. They each get their own BKB. They're both a fresh 10 seconds to work with here, and now they can consider going into more offense. They need some items to put together the damage, because that's where Complexity have been striving as far as big offense. I mean, even your Faceless Void not going for the BKB. He's jumping forward. He gets the Chrono on Shibi. Even with the BKB already popped, it's not going to matter. You got your Sleight of Fist also coming out. Shibi, can he get away from this one? Oh, he does walk away. Big turnaround Epicenter. Ravage helps set it up, but it's a sacrifice to save their Shibi as they both quickly go down. They also lose their Skywrath Mage. Even with those two big Wombo ultimates, it's Complexity who only lose Faceless Void, and Leviathan lose 3.
I don't know if Jenkins feeling a little tilted from the abysmal start earlier on in this game, but he blinked into the Chronosphere, so couldn't Ravage to save his friend, and then held the Ravage. I think he thought Nushim was dead for sure. And then Ravage, sort of too late. It was a nice Ravage, but you know it did damage, but where was the follow-up to actually secure some kills? They got the kill on the Void, but obviously not a favorable exchange at the end of the day. And now without those big ultimates, Complexity can feel pretty safe just putting on the pressure. Pressuring these towers, and I think they still have the Aegis here. Yeah, not too much longer on it, but they do have an Aegis nonetheless.
And now this is Complexity's time, and where it's been a questionable time for Complexity. While they have the lead, should they be able to hold it? Be able to execute, not get too careless as far as going back and being more selfish and finding farm and never really putting a lid on the game. You can allow someone like Leviathan to just jump right out and take the control back. So Complexity need to just kind of make sure they don't let go of the reins of this game and just keep getting objectives, keep going for these tier 2s, start taking down the tier 2s rather, and making their way into the base. Otherwise, Leviathan could get to a scary point where they could make a bounce back.
Just look at this, though. Their Ancients still getting taken out. They're just cutting off every area of the map that Leviathan can farm. Yeah, I mean, right now Moon is just a madman. He's out of control. He's certainly a glass cannon, but he can farm just so damn quickly, and Zeus still holding that high farming slot. It's really just the Razor that's farming very well. Shredder doing okay. And now he has a BKB. That's great, a requirement, but Leviathan are just lacking damage at this point. That's the big problem.
Yeah, and we saw even with BKB, it's not going to stop you from being focused out from a Chronosphere or something like that. So Leviathan just trying to stall out.
Yeah, it's only a level 1 Epi, level 1 Mystic Flare. A lot of these damage-dealing spells, just we're getting to that stage of the game where they need to hit those level 11 marks and start doing a bit more damage. Up top, Shredder doing a little bit of split push. He'll just BKB TP out. That's a 10-second BKB right
play
there.
It safe, I guess. Can't afford to hand over any unnecessary kills and allow them to get that much better, especially someone like Moon, who was there in the top lane. If he finds more kills, ooh, you got a very, very scary Ember Spirit. More scary than it is. His farm potential is gross at this point. He's got double Battle Fury. It's easy takedowns, but just like that, it's Swindle.
Wrecked.
Yeah. That's your best farmer on Leviathan, getting taken out from only 2.
Limp sets it up with an easy Chronosphere, and that's when you have that Zeus outside the Chrono, man. He's just dropping lightning bolt hammers from the sky, no problemo. Smoke from Leviathan. Nushim actually channeling the Epi onto Limp. In comes Jenkins, misses the Ravage.
Limp just walks away and laughs, and now Complexity. They're going to be able to counter back with a couple of big kills. Tidehunter sacrifices himself to try to pull them all the way out. It allows space for Nushim to get away, but still, they lose 3 again. Oh, bad setup right there. Unfortunately, they can't get a hold of the
This feels like a
Faceless
game
Void
3 here, Dakota.
Yeah,
I mean, this
Complexity
is just
come back real good in this game number 2. And
I don't see any way Leviathan can turn this one around at this point. They just don't have the damage. They can't take a team fight. And even if they could get the perfectly choreographed team fight, which seems to be an impossibility based on that exchange, I think Complexity just are mobile enough and can absorb the damage well enough that they'll be A-okay. In comes Nushim, connects with the stun. Limp will take a lot of damage here. They get the kill on the Faceless Void, but an Ice Blast connects. That'll be enough to kind of repel them. Complexity at the tier 3 tower. Barracks will stay standing, so Leviathan will stay in this game a bit longer, but okay, maybe another pick on Bloody 9. All right, not bad. They get 2 recovery kills as Complexity start to retreat.
Oh, DD on the way out. Moon's going to see this. Make him very happy. And he'll be able to run back on through. Now with 2 Battle Furies complete, we'll see if he decides to go a little more survivability with this next potential grab, or if he'll just continue on this cookie cutter path, maybe grab some crit, and just make his right click that much better. But
now the Ogre has a full Aghanims. That's really scary. These supports on the Dire coming online. 4 staff just about up for the Ancient Apparition. You look at Leviathan and Nusham, now 1,300 gold, but still doesn't really have too much. Sunken Tranquil Boots, you know.
I mean, you're looking at complexity supports that are double the farm of Leviathan supports. As far as putting it together, you still, the big mid-game presence, they only have those blink daggers. And that's about it. Tidehunter does manage to put together his level 11, has a level 2 Ravage to work with, but you got to be able to make those Ravages connect. And that's the big thing. If those ultimates don't seem to work out, things just become that much harder for Leviathan. And for complexity, it's just their game. The ball's in their court, and Swindle.
Full refresher.
Swindle Melon. Gets the Melon refresher ball.
Wow.
Is double ultimate.
What a
and
timing.
your Skywrath Mage might as well be dead after double ultimate.
Yeah.
Get a cloak, my man.
28 minutes.
Get a cloak.
No
You'll
pipe,
need
no
it.
cloaks. This Zeus is just, he's on a rampage here. They'll bump into Sunken. Is invisible. Swindle trying to scout it out. I think he'll
If
find
he
him.
drops one lightning thing, they'll see him.
And Limp in the
If he
front
just
lines
zaps
here.
anything. Oh, jump forward. Chrono does catch Shredder in big trouble. Ravage just tries to slow them down. Doesn't stop Limp. He takes down one. They want Shredder. They should be able to get him next, and they will. Limp gets a double. Swindle gets dominating streak. They keep going forward. They want a 5-man takedown, and they'll be able to get it. Shibby should fall, and it's complexity that just annihilate Leviathan. They lose no one, and they will strut down from the north and take a couple of towers on the way. It's very much possible we'll see a game number 3. Complexity seem to have control of this game, and they're not letting go.
It's exactly what we talked about after the last team fight. It's how do Leviathan win a fight at this point? They just don't. They don't have survivability. They've got 2 BKBs, but really not too much in the way of tankiness. They've got very minimal damage output and complexity. They just have it all. They're so far ahead. 20,000 golden experience at the 30-minute mark is getting near that insurmountable mark. And frankly, I'm a little surprised to see Leviathan not just tapping out and say, you know what, let's just go game 3. What's the comeback mechanic? You know, if they had some sort of a great Turtler, a Medusa that still has a Stone Gaze to hold the high ground, I could see where they're coming from. But I mean, yeah, Complexity do still have the Chrono and the refresher from Zeus on cooldown. They won't win off this push. But I don't see what's going to prevent the next team fight from just going the exact same way.
Yep, they double down this aggressive ward here to make sure they have that bit of extra vision. But yeah, they get a big team fight. They take 2 different tier 2 towers. They push their net worth past the 20k mark. A BKB is now together for Limp. Everything is just coming up beautifully for Complexity, and for Leviathan, they got to think about what plan B, what plan C might even be at this point.
Yeah.
And it might be their last hurrah here. They smoke up, and they want to be able to go for a big team fight. If they can line all the stars together, then maybe,
But they don't have
just
Ravage
maybe, they'll be able to make something happen. But yeah, they're going
45 seconds on Ravage. I don't think
They're
you
just
want to.
anticipating maybe they're going for Roche. Oh, they'll cross paths. Moon immediately pulls out.
All right, well, that smoke will be interrupted, at least most of it. Yeah, Roche will be up very soon, so the right idea, but even if they're doing Roche, I just think you don't want to fight without Ravage. That's your priority. Even handing over an Aegis just so you can have the Ravage.
Oh, the Ice Blast nicks Nusham, and they just jump and take him out. He can't blink out because of it, and they take down Sunken. Oh, Complexity. Get a free couple of kills. Moving towards his bottom lane. Shredder does make it out the last second of his TP, but
Barely.
now
Tyrion
Complexity
Chains are on the way.
have numbers. That was Leviathan's potential all-or-nothing smoke play. They lose 2.
Yeah, I do like the thought process of, hey, Roche is coming up, maybe we can catch him off guard, and unfortunately for them, they just had no vision, no way to scout it out, and they'll see that now Roche will just get handed over on a silver platter to Complexity. Only Roche 2, so just an Aegis, but
This is looking
there's
like
more
one
going
of
the
those
Dire's.
Complexity games where they just suffocate you, and they could pull up just as easily a 40k network lead, and then slowly move on and force Leviathan to pull out the white flag. But you know, Leviathan, they have one more game to work with. They could also just kind of endure this and make Complexity work for it, maybe fatigue them a little bit before game number 3.
Yeah, I suppose there's something to be said for that, though. I feel like there's also the getting yourself a little bit deeper into that tilt, just a little more. You know, every time you take a bad team fight,
maybe they're already thinking about game number 3 also. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're right. They could just on tilt
I mean, I've heard a lot of players say that when you're in a game like this in a best-of-3 series, it's like, you know what, just tap out early, don't punish yourself, recognize that it was an outdraft, outlane, whatever went wrong, wipe it off, and just get into that fresh game where you can actually make a difference. And here, if you're fighting a truly uphill battle that's pretty much unwinnable, you're just, you're making you're hurting your psyche. You're hurting that team morale a little bit. So, Leviathan will hang in a little bit longer. No lanes of barracks down. I do see where they're coming from, but as we pointed out in Game 1, this is where Complexity really shines. They're generally a pretty safe team. They like to farm and sit back, especially when they're ahead, and wait for the other team to make that mistake before they'll push up for that finishing blow.
Now with a 25k gold advancement above, it's Moon Meander who's going to press down this mid lane. Double Battle Fury and Daedalus. He easily wipes out a creep wave within just one sleight of fist. So even Leviathan trying to get their creeps past the river is a struggling point at this part in the game, as it looks like Complexity are just going to spread the map. They have Swindle at the top on his Zeus pushing down. Bottom lane, it's Limp. Along with their Ogre Magi and Ancient Apparition here. Now even Moon getting in on the action. This is where the racks are already exposed. And
yeah, it's interesting to see them split pushing with the Zeus, but he can clear waves pretty quickly, and with the Refresher, I mean, he can drop 1,200 damage from afar on the entire team.
He knows that they're trying to run for the base. He actually takes down Tide with the Refresher, so there's going to be no Ravage in this fight whatsoever. Out for 40 seconds without a buyback, and now they put their attention towards Swindle Melons here, just trying to desperately finish him off, but their base is getting swarmed here as Complexity easily moved towards the mid lane after already taking down the bottom set of racks.
Sunken Shatters on top of that. Troll barely survives, but now mid-racks will go down, and here we're in GG territory, and yep, there it is. I think not a moment too soon. We're moving into an ace match for opening series.
All right. So Complexity kind of make easy work of Leviathan in game number 2. I just think from the start it was just struggling. We were anticipating that Complexity were going to be moving through the Leviathan jungle, taking away as many camps as possible, and for a team like Leviathan, they love to move offensively early as well. And I think they should have been more prepared that Complexity were going to be coming into the jungle, put up more thought into just like a nice spring out a trap while they're trying to move through the jungle, but that allows Complexity to just kind of set up the stage for a nice, easy early game. It takes way too long for Sand King and for Tidehunter to get a hold of their Blink Daggers, and it's just struggling for Leviathan.
Exactly. They totally neutered Newsham with their successful invade and sort of failed counterwarding from Leviathan, and for whatever reason, Jenkins just got completely shut down, a little too far forward, got that snowball going, and he gave Moon that amazing start he needed to just really be an easy game for the Ember Spirit. Moon spent that whole game just farming, running around, picking kills, having a field day for the most part.
And Swindle too, man. Swindle played a really good Zeus. He found a lot of great burst potential, a lot of great damage.
15, 2, and 12.
That's your Zeus game. That's what you want.
That's where
if you're not sporting a record like that on Zeus, you probably lost. Like it's just
a fair point. A fair point. So, all right, we're moving into an ace match for the opening series of the Summit 2 America playoffs. We'll be back after this short break, guys. Don't go anywhere. Complexity versus Leviathan wraps up after this.